What's up, booktube? Welcome back. My name is Laura if you're new here, and today I'm letting my tarot deck pick my TBR for June. So I have the beautiful Tarot of the Divine deck, which I will of course link down below. I am obsessed with this deck. It is so beautiful. Each card in here pairs with a different fairy tale or folk tale from different cultures from all around the world. But today we are going to be using these cards to pick out my TBR for June, which is Pride Month. So I'm going to try and make this TBR as queer as humanly possible. For my TBR from last month, complete failure. Like, complete and utter failure. I DNF'd 2 of them and then didn't even start the other 2. Like, I just wasn't in the mood for them whatsoever. So here's to hoping that this month's TBR goes a little bit better than that one did. But without further ado, let's get started. So the first card that we pulled here was the Lovers, which is just one of the most beautiful cards in this deck. It is gorgeous. And this card is depicting Beauty and the Beast, which is a Danish fairy tale, but the characters on here are inspired by Chinese. And it says the Lovers card represents romance, opposites attracting, the duality and balance of carnality, physicality, and fire versus spirituality, emotions, and water. The pair emphasize the importance of communication and herald an important crossroads. And the upright keywords are love, harmony, trust, a leap of faith, and choice. And for this card, sticking with the Beauty and the Beast theme, I'm going to be reading The Beast by Katee, which is the 4th book in the Wicked Villains series. This is a series of very smutty BDSM erotica novellas that are retellings of classic Disney stories. So basically these stories take place in a city that's divided up into different factions that are ruled by, like, I guess they're like mob bosses, whoever they are, crime lords, that kind of thing. But they all meet up in the BDSM club that is run by Hades. And things really center around there. So in the 4th book, The Beast, it is centering on Belle, the Beast, and Gaston as a polyamorous threesome. I think what happened here was that Belle was dating both of them, and now in this book she has to choose between one of them, and I think ends up with both instead. I think that's what the general plot is, just based on the Goodreads synopsis, so I'm hoping that's where it goes, because that would be awesome. There's really not a whole lot of like polyamorous representation out there, at least not in like more mainstream books, so I'm very excited to see this in a very popular series, since that'll be 2 out of the 6 books in this series that have a polyamorous thing going on to it. I am obsessed with the series, it's so good, and I'm so excited to finally carry on with it. Card number 2 was the 7 of Swords. This one is a Salish legend from the Pacific Northwest. It says the 7 of Swords is a trickster, and the coyote represents deceit in all forms, from small pranks to terrible scandals. He is clever and manipulative, and the upright keywords are strategy, cunning, thievery, cheating, and manipulation. For the 7 of Swords, I'm going to go with the trickster element to this, and I'll be reading The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichec. This one is a Norse-inspired fantasy that follows a witch who falls in love with Loki, and they end up having 3 kids together, and each of those kids have their own kind of power and prophecy surrounding them. And then I believe our main character, the witch, has some kind of prophecy coming, or like bad things are gonna happen to her, and she has to make some difficult decisions. The synopsis is pretty vague. I really have no clue what's gonna happen in this one, but from what I've gathered, it doesn't seem to be a direct retelling of any particular story within Norse mythology. I think it's just inspired by the characters, and it's a more like feminist take on Norse mythology. So it sounds really cool. I've heard great things about it, so I'm hoping I will love this one. The next card we pulled was Temperance, and this card is showing a Buddhist story from India. It says temperance is about balance and meditation. It is being mutable, recognizing when to change with the times and when to change the situation itself. The identities are fluid, but the goodwill remains constant. And the upright keywords are moderation, harmony, purpose, good influence, and reconciliation. And for this card, I'll be taking the Indian influence and going with Star Daughter by Shveta Thakrar. This one is a Hindu-inspired fantasy about a girl who is half star. I think it's her mother is a like literal star. She's a celestial goddess. And I think her father is in trouble, or he's sick or something like that, and so she goes to the stars to try and help him, and ends up having to compete in some kind of magical competition among the other gods. I love the magical competition trope. It's one of my favorite tropes in fantasy, and I've heard some really, really good things about this book. This one was on my 5-star predictions list from like 2 years ago that I still haven't gotten around to. So I think that I'm going to love this book, and I can't wait to get to it. I know I keep saying that, but like it's true for all of them. I'm so excited to read all these books, and yeah, it just sounds so beautiful. And then the last card we pulled was the 5 of Swords. This card is showing the myth of Osiris, Set, and Isis from Egyptian mythology, and it says the 5 of Swords represents a fight won through deceit. Set overthrows his brother Osiris and is seen gloating over his brother's inconsolable wife Isis. While Set represents a tyrant of a victor, Isis is a defeated combatant who will eventually bring about Set's defeat. And the upright keywords are surrender, betrayal, bullying, violence, and crime. And to go with the Five of Swords, I'm drawing off of the battle between brothers kind of thing and the betrayal. And I'll be reading Vicious by V.E. Schwab. In this book, these two aren't brothers, but I think they were like best friends. And they were both very lonely, arrogant boys who were doing some experimentations with finding ways to give them superpowers. And I believe what happened was that the one person like sold out the other one, and the book starts when the one who was sold out is coming out of jail like 10 years later, and he wants to kill the one who put him there. So huge themes of betrayal there, lots of like supernatural elements and supervillains and all these things, so I can't wait for it. I've been wanting to read this book for so long. I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. Everyone who I know who's read it has absolutely loved it, so I'm hoping I will also love it. And the cover too, oh my god, it's so pretty. I'm obsessed with it. But yeah, I think I'm going to adore this book. I really hope I do. But those are the 4 books on my official TBR, but hopefully I'll be reading a whole lot more queer things throughout the month of June. I'm also planning on reading Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I have the one checked out from the library right now, as well as a couple of other things here and there. But I'm really hoping that my reading slump that's been happening all month is coming to an end, because I want to spend the entire month just reading nothing but beautifully queer books. So wish me luck that my reading slump is coming to an end, because like this shit needs to stop. But let me know what you're reading in the month of June. In the meantime, that'll do it for today's video. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!